So there's this list out there that every year, every state and city gets ranked to see where are the best places to live. And honestly, Raleigh has been crushing that list for years. But is it still a top contender in 2024? Let's break it down, and then you get to hear my true opinion on if Raleigh deserves to be on that list, given the changes in the neighborhoods, in the economy, and more. Now, if you're new to me and this YouTube channel, we talk about everything you need to know about Raleigh, North Carolina. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out. But also, I am a licensed realtor here, so if you need any assistance or any help on your relocation needs, just reach out. First off, there is no denying that Raleigh is on the rise. Thanks to all the media, the YouTube channels that all contributed to bringing light to Raleigh and helping with this booming economy, the job market, and the city offering a fantastic, in my personal opinion, a fantastic quality of life. And you can't forget, you get mild weather here, a vibrant food scene, tons of things to do outdoors, access to other major areas, and of course, the education, the schools, some of the top tier schools that are in this area. So you may be wondering now, well, why is Raleigh consistently getting ranked based off of what I just mentioned? Or you may actually be looking at things and say, all right, that makes sense why it's consistently being ranked. But let's really dive in to figure it all out. Now, over the course of years, some of these rankings have shifted a bit, whether it's, Raleigh ranking higher or lower, whatever the case may be. But based off of what U.S. News and World reported recently, it actually shifted from number 3 down to number 6. So that should give you an idea of the progression of where Raleigh is going. However, I found another report that actually had Raleigh as number 2 for the best performing cities. I think it's worth taking a look at that report specifically to see what exactly makes Raleigh number 2. So if we take a look at this Milken Institute report mentioning the best performing cities in 2024, let's actually go ahead and just kind of scroll through. First, I want to really show you guys, what makes, what makes each city even be on this list. So let's see what is it that they're really looking at to determine what makes a great city. And you guys can kind of see here, so high tech impact. As you guys may know, RTP is one of those areas right now that is really developing that industry of tech, biopharm, honestly. A lot of research institutions are going in that area. In fact, just look at Research Triangle Park specifically and just see. And of course, there is labor market performance. So of course, what's the job market like? As I mentioned, an area that is booming when it comes to there, and then access to economic opportunities as well. So it looks like these are kind of the things. You guys can go ahead and scroll and look a little bit deeper into it if you would like to see what exactly are they ranking and what is giving them this ability to call a city the best performing. So we can actually see here the map in itself. They put it in tiers, but right now we'll focus on just tier 1, just because, you guys can look at this at your own. I'll actually add this in the description so you guys can check this out. But I just want to continue to scroll through it because I really want you guys to see what they have to say about, the biggest gains, the biggest losers. Honestly, we could take a look at all of them, and we'll go dive deeper into, what they say about Raleigh specifically. So here are some of the biggest winners. I will say, I don't know too much about all these, so I really won't say too much. But as you can see, if you're looking in these areas, or someone looking in the area, or maybe someone living in these areas, share this with them to let them know, hey, where you're at, you guys were amongst one of the the best performing cities out of the entire country. So that's good. But there's additional cities that you guys can take a look at as well. Again, I don't really have too much to say about these other cities, just because I don't know. But let's look at the biggest drops. Greensboro, North Carolina made it, I will say. So that's, for those individuals looking in that area, if you're looking for growth, it looks like Greensboro is not the place right now. Of course, that can change in the near dear future, but the fact that it made the biggest drops. And then I should have actually mentioned this. When it's saying biggest gain, I'm saying like it's referring to the change from 2023 to 2024. And then as well as the biggest drops is also referring to 2023's rank. So you can see here, Greensboro, North Carolina had a rank of 108. And now they're ranking it as 164. So obviously the higher the number, the worse. So that's not good. And then here's an addition for, also that was the large cities, and this is now a smaller city. So here's another drop for the biggest drops. But anywho, let's go ahead and take a look at the large city ranking. So before I do that, as you can see, number 1 is Austin. Before I do that, I want you to show you guys what were the top performing large city and small city. So Idaho Falls and Austin receive the best. So there, you guys know, you won't have it. We really won't touch upon the small cities just because Raleigh isn't right now considered a small city. And as we can see, Raleigh hit number 2. And obviously these rankings are going to be different all across the board. I think everyone has their own metrics, and I think understanding what that metric is vital to understanding why is it ranked where it is ranked. And here on the Milken report, you can see it's ranked number 2. But if we go to look at the U.S. News and World Report, I believe they gave it a number 6. So it's just look at what is it that they're using to determine what gives it that rank, and that can help you maybe gauge or better understand, you know, what is this area providing or what is it not providing that's giving it that number. But honestly, to be on that list in itself says a lot. But anywho, let's get back to this here, and let's go ahead and check out what exactly they have to say about Raleigh in itself. You know, I really won't touch as much upon this because again, I feel like I talk about this all the time when it comes to these videos. But something that does really stand out to me is this right here. So Raleigh spent $2.9 million, exceeding expenditures in 2018 and 19. And honestly, that's the year that I really got to Raleigh, to be honest with you guys. So, you know, I've been able to not be a part of the growth where I can see what was it like beforehand, but I can for sure tell you what it's been like since 2018, and doesn't really look the same. And I mean, we can even take it a step further. If we could see, there were 17.8 million visitors to Raleigh in the midst of all of that. And I think recently I heard, I don't know if actually you guys can fact check me on this one, but if I'm not mistaken, there's like 55 people moving to Raleigh every day or something of that nature that I saw or heard. That number could be butchered entirely, so definitely fact check me, but it's somewhere in the midst of like 30 to like 50. I want to say that that's where it is in terms of how many people are moving here on a regular basis. But this is an area that's going to continuously perform well because of the access to economic opportunities. And it shows you here, right? It gives you the ranks, and it kind of breaks it down even sooner if you don't want to read through all of this in itself. Economic opportunities, for economic opportunities, but, you know, housing costs, broadband is why I believe they're giving it as a tier 1. However, you know, something that I do also want to say is this right here. When it comes to housing, this is problematic. Needing 17,000 more housing units, it's a lot. And that's why I think we're seeing so many apartment complexes go up, because they're trying to fulfill that need right there. With so many people moving in, you know, obviously these individuals need places to stay, and if they don't have somewhere to stay, then it's kind of over with. They're going to look elsewhere. But also, to kind of not give Raleigh this, put him on a pedestal so much, I mean, you know, we won't really focus on the strength because, again, as I mentioned, job growth, economic opportunity, it's all there. You know, a continued rebound in travel and tourism. I don't really see tourism being a big part of Raleigh, but anywho, to not be completely on this pedestal of Raleigh, you know, it mentions slowing GDP and job growth in 2022 to 2023. So that is something to really keep an eye on, whether you're looking here for job growth or you're looking here to maybe invest in the market. You know, it's something that is stating slow growth in GDP and job growth is not a good sign, honestly speaking, because that just means, you know, not as much demand is going to be on the horizon, which maybe that's exactly what Raleigh needs, given that they are lacking 17,000 housing units. So I hope that this gives you enough information to gauge and understand what exactly is happening in Raleigh, so that you guys all can make the best decision on what makes sense for you, yourself, your family, or whoever else is tagging along. So you see that number that is popping up right there. Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day, night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. And let me know if you have any questions specifically about this report or Raleigh, or maybe it's your relocation need. And let's see if we can find you that neighborhood, that home to best fit what your needs are. But all things lead to some sort of negativity or just bad decisions, or just there's another side to every single story, right? So let's talk about the flip side of things in terms of just being on this growth and just kind of where Raleigh is ranked. What is it really going through at this current moment? And as I've always mentioned on this videos, in my previous videos, I should say, the infrastructure, the public transportation system is just not there. So if you are someone that is in dire need of it and that's something you need to rely on, this is not a major city that you want to really rely on that for, because it is not what I think anybody should be relying on. If you have your own vehicle, of course, you'll be fine. If you want to use it from time to time, sure. But please, not now. At least not now. I know there's talks and conversations of developing a light rail or something of that nature to help with that public transportation aspect. But what it is today, as I'm recording this, no bueno. And for those of you who are driving on the roads, a lot of work is being done in terms of expanding the roads, changing the roadway, the traffic. There's a lot going on to the point where, you're going to drive one way for X amount of time, and then next thing you know, everything gets switched on you, and you're like, what in the world is this? I don't recognize anything around me. So that's happening a lot at the same time. So there's a lot of construction going on, but it's all for the better, right? Because we know that this is an area that in the foreseeable future will bloom. And speaking about bloom and expansion, Raleigh right now, of course, a lot of individuals who lived there maybe in the past didn't really experience as many people as they are moving to Raleigh, living in Raleigh right now. So one thing I would definitely say, and this is maybe a good thing, bad thing, depending on, what it is that you prefer, but Raleigh right now has like this urban sprawl where a lot of individuals are leaving Raleigh to go to different areas. So that's why you hear a lot about your Cary, Apex, maybe Garner, Fuquay, Varina, Angier, Wendell, Zebulon. So these are so many different areas that surround that Raleigh area and really support Raleigh, in fact, because people are now spreading to go further out, whether it be 15 to 30, 45 minutes to, still have access to Raleigh. However, this one here, when it comes to affordability, cost of living, I question how does Raleigh manage, or at least how do these reports manage to, I guess, suppress that information. But I guess when you look at the entire world, Raleigh doesn't do terrible when it comes to affordability. Yeah, it may be up there in terms of price point and where you may be looking. However, it doesn't really compare to, the rest of the world in the sense of those major cities and metros that have everything set in stone. Raleigh still looks like a great opportunity. I actually recently just came across this report that said, it was actually done by CNBC. It was like this study that they said that they found that a Raleigh resident needs 6 figures to live comfortably. I mean, yes, that's a big hurdle, because I don't know anyone who's just coming right out of college making 6 figures or better, just raising a family and immediately gets into 6 figures. So I don't per se agree with that entirely statement too much. Maybe it's close to the 6-figure aspect. And of course, it depends on your situation. But, to need 6 figures is a far fetch. I could definitely say you would need close to it, if not near it, to be, live comfortable. And of course, your comfortability can mean something different. So you may even need less. Or if you like to go all out, then of course you may need a little bit more. But, coming across that, survey report, whatever it was, I chuckled at it, because it's like, I could see it, but I think it's really going to be dependent. Raleigh's not to that point, I don't think, just quite yet. So now you got to ask yourself, with everything that I've mentioned already, do you believe that Raleigh is still a top city to live in? Despite the price tag that comes with it, does the quality of life exceed it? Is there education, a little bit more or better than what you're looking for? Is the healthcare better? Is the outdoor recreational or activities better? As someone moving and looking into a different area, especially if you haven't been here, those are some of the things that you must ask yourself on a regular basis to see if this is an area for you or not. Because if you do those things, you'll be just fine. Like myself, back in 2018, I did not do half of what I'm sharing with you guys, half of even what I'm telling individuals that reach out to me. It's because I didn't know. All right, I didn't know better. I mean, quite frankly, I didn't really have much to lose. At the same time, I could understand if you're an individual who has an entire family looking to move to this area, and you have to bring everyone with you. That's not an easy move. So of course you're gonna want to make sure everything is all set and checks all the boxes, or at least most of your boxes. But for someone like myself, moving here in 2018 by myself, I didn't have much. I actually did visit the area, which is why I always recommend to you guys to visit to see for yourself. Because of course you can go based off of my word, but my word is my experiences, and you could live an entirely different lifestyle than I live. So always check it out and have that in the back of your mind. So from my perspective, is Raleigh worth living in 2024? Does it really fulfill that list of being one of the top cities? Should it be ranked number 6, or should it even be ranked number 2? And honestly, my answer may be biased because I'm here and I can only share with you guys from what it is that I'm experiencing. Some of the things that come top of mind is, if you want better weather, then yeah. And better weather with, a little humidity in the summer. I shouldn't say a little, but are you an individual who is looking to be around a great educational system? Are you wanting or looking to grow with a state? Do you need additional employment opportunities? Are you looking to keep a little bit more money in your pocket and not share too much with Uncle Sam? You also don't need to rely on public transportation, and you're not too crazy about the nightlife or even the entertainment here. If you found a few things that you're circling or you're checking off your boxes as like it matters, it doesn't matter, then yeah, I think you'll be just fine in Raleigh. In fact, that's kind of what Raleigh is experiencing right now. Because in my personal opinion, it's a laid back place that at times, of course, if you want to, have your hoorah moments, whatever that is, then yes, you can for sure do it. Or even if I know I hear a lot, it's like, moving down south is much slower. Honestly, I get in my up north groove a lot, and nothing really seems to slow me down. So if you're able to kind of not even block out the noise, just do what you have to do and let everybody else catch up to you, then you'll be just fine. And I think those individuals who like to move at that fast pace, you have an advantage. And the only reason why I say that is because when you move so quickly and you're able to take a step back and allow everybody to catch up, you can take a little bit more breaks and time for yourself. So that slow pace that everyone really talks about, I honestly don't foresee it really being a major thing here, because there's so many individuals who are moving in, changing the entire dynamic of the place. So that slow pace that everyone talks about, right, I think it's going to in the foreseeable future go outwards of Raleigh, and what needs to stay in Raleigh will kind of just be. But if you do have any additional questions, concerns, or you're looking for a specific neighborhood in Raleigh, North Carolina, you see that number that is popping up right there. Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing: I got your back in this market. But if you don't want to give me a ring, that is perfectly fine. I have an entire catalog, playlist about living in Raleigh, North Carolina. Just take a look at any one of those videos that do pop out to you. In fact, I was actually thinking about doing a, pros and cons of living in Raleigh, North Carolina 2024, but I'm unsure if I really want to do it. So if you think I should really do it, let me know in the comments below. Just mention something. Yes, do the pros and cons, something short to give me enough gauge or understanding if it's worth me doing that or not. But to really wrap things up, the honest truth is, Raleigh is going to continuously grow and be a place where I think a lot of individuals do find their peace or their sanity or whatever the case may be. But if you're unsure if it's the best place for you to live in 2024 or onward, these are some things I will say just to really keep in mind and check off your list immediately. Is it a place where it has the employment opportunities for you? And is budgeting going to be something that you should really take a look at and reconsider? Because again, like I mentioned a little bit earlier in this video, yes, Raleigh does have a price tag to it. So you definitely want to keep your eyes on that, because ultimately, the decision is yours in terms of where you decide to relocate to move for good, or maybe it's just to kind of explore. But weighing the pros and cons is going to be critical and crucial to the long-term longevity of everything. And you can't forget, make sure to visit before making that decision. Don't be an individual to move here and then move out and want to move back. But let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts about Raleigh? Does it really deserve to be on that best performing city list? Would you even consider it yourself? Because just as much as I enjoy making these videos for you guys, my name is Roney Polynice, and I am a licensed realtor here in North Carolina. and would love nothing more but the opportunity to be able to assist you with your relocation needs. So you see that number that is popping up right there? Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing. I got your back in this market.